Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Monday. I am Julie Ann MEJIA, and this is episode 12 of The Holistic Alternative. Today, we have a wonderful guest joining us. This gentleman is a published author and has written several books with a few new ones in the pipeline. He is also actively working on his first screenplay. He is a seasoned podcaster and hosts two popular segments, The Jewish Lens and Pop Culture Retro Show. He is a dedicated father and a civil rights advocate using his platforms to spread awareness and truth to the world. Today, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome Jonathan Rosen to the show. Jonathan, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's an honor and a privilege, especially after being on your show. It's great to host you. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right into it, Jonathan. So let's talk a little bit about you as an author. How did you get into writing stories and what really inspired you to write your first book?
I've been writing ever since I was a kid, just really off and on. Inspired me because I used to love creative writing. And then one day, one of my teachers in high school, pulled me aside after class and said, you have a talent for this. And that's really what made me think that possibly, because, your parents are always supposed to tell you that you're good, but this is coming from someone else. So that's, so this was someone that you respect. So that was fun. But probably around, I would say 16 years ago, I started taking it a little bit more seriously and really trying to make a go of it. And then it took several years before I got an agent, and then several years after that until I got published. But that's, I always love writing, always jotting down story ideas. Even to this day, when something strikes me, I'll jot down the story idea, to try to revisit it in the future.
So let's talk about some of your books that you published. What was the first one you published?
First one that I had, all right, that's a two-thing question, because I got published with something that I was worked for hire. It's called the Rockefeller Caper, but I was hired to do something that it was they wanted something 1920s era story, just to make a mystery. So they kind of gave me the things to do, the outline, not the outline, but just they wanted a lot of 1920s references. So I did that. But the first book on my own that was just my idea from beginning to end that was published was called Night of the Living Cuddle Bunnies, which is a middle grade book for horror and comedy. So I always I like that spooky with humor. I like the two things mixed together. So that was the first thing that I really, that I guess is credited to me. And it's kind of like a Gremlins, Goonies type of thing. And it's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So what inspired that, piece to come about? Do you have children?
I do have kids. I have 3 kids. Okay. I'm not sure that they inspired us, but they always critique me. My kids critique me very much. So oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. But that was one thing. It's just those are the type of things that I liked watching as a kid. I like watching the type of things I write are the type of things that I liked as a kid. So I do like those genre, like I said, like Lost Boys and Gremlins and Fright Night, that horror comedy mix. That's what inspired me. I just thought it would be fun to have the hot new Christmas toy, the Cuddle Bunny, that every kid was getting. It was a mix of child's play. What if that hot new Christmas toy turned out to be evil? So that's what inspired that.
That's very cool. That's awesome. So, what about your second book? I know you did a little bit
Had a
more of a variance.
Well, I had a sequel to that, which was From Sunset Till Sunrise, which is the same characters, but this time it's dealing with vampires in the town. The whole thing takes place in the town of Gravesend, which is the real town that I grew up in. So I thought I'm not going to find a better name than Gravesend because it's a spooky name on its own. And that was right in the middle of Brooklyn. And there's a 250, like close to 300-year-old cemetery that's smack dab right in the middle of town in Gravesend, which I've walked to several times. It's just right there between a couple of apartment buildings. It's like the weirdest thing. So I made it in the town of Gravesend. And so this, every book was supposed to be a different thing, like, dealing with a different type of creature. So that's vampires. And after that, I think is the one I co-edited an anthology on Jewish stories called Coming of Age, which 13 B'nai Mitzvah stories. I got 13 different authors to participate with the idea that everyone's a different story about a boy's doing a bar mitzvah, a girl's doing a bat mitzvah, and everyone everyone was free to do whatever they wanted. And it's funny that we had some science fiction ones, mine included, in that anthology. So people just were free to do whatever they wanted as long as the theme was a B'nai Mitzvah.
Very cool. That's awesome how you kind of deviated from, fiction and more of like the haunted theme to, bringing every kind of thing together in regards to your background.
Yeah, I thought it was important. I wanted to start doing something with a Jewish theme. And so I did feel it important. And I'm still trying to do a little bit more of that now, try to put some Jewish themes in some of the work that I'm currently writing now. But I still love, that spooky. I still love the supernatural elements. And even in my stuff now, I still include like a little bit of a supernatural elements and things.
Very cool. That's awesome. And you have a couple new books coming out soon, right? That are
not coming out. They're being shopped.
They're being shopped. Gotcha.
My agents are shopping. I have two different agents, one for adult work, one for my middle grade and kidlit. So they're each shopping something right now. And we will see. Hopefully we'll have some good news on those.
Awesome. That's wonderful. I'm so excited to check everything out, and I'm sure the community is as well. So that's wonderful.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited about both of them. We'll see what happens.
So, in regards to your writing, you've written some successful books. You have a couple more coming down the pipeline. Let's talk about your screenplay that you're working on right now as well. That's really exciting.
I finished one with someone else. So I finished one with someone that trying to find a home for, which is a horror comedy. This is for like adults. And right now I'm working on, I'm in the middle of a screenplay about a rom-com. So we will see what happens with that. I'm enjoying, again, a little supernatural twist to it, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. And I would like to, screenplays is something that I would like to pursue more, but it is very tough to start finding representation for that. It's a whole different world than literary agents because it's usually not the same person. So it's like back in the querying stages again.
No, I totally understand that and commend you for your, efforts in that regard because it's not easy. Starting out in anything is just it's a whole project.
Absolutely. It really is. And it's like, learning the ropes all over again right now.
That's awesome. So, in regards to bringing everything home and talking a little bit about, your background, being Jewish and such, how does that relate to some of your podcasts? Because I know you have two different podcasts. Let's talk a little bit about those.
Well, the first one I did several years ago, I teamed up. Remember the movie Escape to Witch Mountain? So when we were kids, I think we were probably roughly the same age around. So I became friendly with the star of that movie, who was, he was a kid in that movie. He's not a kid anymore. And Ike Eisenman. So we started doing a podcast together called Pop Culture Retro, where we talk about things from our youth. And we interviewed celebrities from movies, from TV shows, from music, and some sports even included there too. So we were doing that for a little bit. And eventually Ike did around 160 episodes of it. and then he left to go work on his own writing, and another former child actor came in, Moosey Dreyer, who was in Oh God and Kids Incorporated, and a lot of, and Laugh-In. He was in Laugh-In as well. So he came on, and we've been doing it. I've been having a blast with him, and still doing that. But around after October 7th, I wanted to do something also more Jewish minded too. I wanted to get something to focus on Jewish voices, Jewish issues, and just it didn't even have to be something like urgent or big or important. Just giving to Jewish voice. Like I said, that's when I had you on as well. So I just wanted to get something out there to do this. So I started doing the Jewish lens, and I've had some great guests on. I really have it, just from all walks of life, from just from business owners, from authors, people. And today I released an episode, people that a writer and director and star of this new movie out. So I'm able to do from all walks of life, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's amazing that I don't think of it as anything huge yet. I've had a lot of people contact me to ask to be on. So it's like, maybe it's starting to resonate a little bit.
I think that's wonderful. I think, from a community standpoint, we're such a small percentage that giving our community members a voice and a platform to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about, whether it's, what they're bringing to the world or Jewish issues, I think that's a wonderful contribution to society that is needed.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like I said, there's no real agenda other than that. I mean, sometimes some guests are more serious than others, depending on what they're talking about. I've had guests on talking about dealing with anti-Semitism, talking about issues. But I've also had people, like I said, just people talking about their movies, people talking about their books. It doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering. It's just something to amplify the voice a little bit.
I think that's wonderful. So thank you. I commend you for that work. And I'd love to hear more about your retro podcast as well. Let's talk about some of the guests you've had on there. And, as far as celebrities go, any particular interviews stand out more than others?
There are a couple, and I get asked this a lot, and there really are. It's, I do love just about every guest, and that's being sincere and honest. On both podcasts, I do love every single guest. I always find something interesting from anyone. There are things that I didn't think that I would, that I'll have them on, but I'm not sure I'll, be as knowledgeable or be as fascinated as this. And it's not true, because I just like hearing someone's passionate. But on the pop culture retro one, I've had on several people that are just, I'm like in awe talking to them. Like even the one that we just posted last week, we posted, Tim Rice, who wrote all the musicals with Andrew Lloyd Webber. So he wrote, he co-wrote Phantom of the Opera. He wrote, not Phantom of the Opera, I'm sorry, Jesus Christ Superstar, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Evita. So he wrote Chess and what else? Lion King. So he wrote all these musicals, and it's like blown away. I can't believe I'm talking to this person. And it's like Paul Williams was another one. Tommy Chong was another one. It's just like, I'm looking at people that I grew up with, and I can't believe it. And then there are people just for personal things that are just for me, that made me feel that I love the interview just because of how I felt about them as kids. We had one, and people won't recognize the name, but he used to be very big. He was like on everything for a time and many commercials. Mino Palouse, and no one knows the name. No one will recognize the name too, but he was on my favorite show as a kid. He was on my show. I loved the show Voyagers as a kid. It was a time traveling show. It was my favorite show. So when we had him on, I was transported back to being a kid again. It was just really, it's like, I remember watching the show. I remember sitting in front of it, there, and it just took me back. And sometimes that's all it takes. It doesn't matter for, if everyone's going to recognize the name. It's how I felt about it as a kid. And I really have to pinch myself sometimes that I'm talking to these people that I grew up watching, that I grew up, admiring. And it's just a thrill for me as well.
That's amazing. So do you get a little starstruck sometime? I know Tommy Chong's a fun one. I know a lot of people that know him, and it's funny, they they always like from their business page all the posts that we add about them. So I hear he's a wonderful guy. How was having Tommy on the show?
Tommy Chung would fit in well in your podcast for sure. But but yes, we talked about that. We did talk about that. We talked about he also has a lot of hemp products as well. But he was great. He was really nice, and that's what I'll say this: just about every single person that I've had on has been really nice off camera as well, and he was one of them. And I was so happy. But with Tommy Chung, he went on talking about a lot of this existential things, and you listen, and he talked for around a couple of hours, and it just flew by because you're just listening to him talk, and he could not have been nicer. He could not have been friendlier, and that was great. It was really fun to get to see that side of him, and there was no big leaguing. There was no anything like you should be. Don't you know who I am or anything like that. It was just like a regular conversation, and he was just really nice. But yeah, I do get, like I said before, I get awestruck with a couple of people. Most people, like I said, have just come on and just put you at ease right away. That they're just people, and they enjoy talking. They enjoy conversation. No one, I said with very few exceptions. I can't say every single one. I can only think of a couple maybe that have just they enjoyed being there. They enjoyed talking to you, and it's just been a lot of fun. And I do get awestruck at times, not all the time, but everyone I admire. But there are a couple of times more than others that I have been awestruck.
I totally understand.
Which I'm sorry, it was fun. I had someone that was a fan, someone who's been in a lot of movies, that wrote to me originally that he watches the show and he's enjoying the show. And that blew me away. That there are celebrities that watch it, and we had him on, and this is Kevin J. O'Connor, who was in The Mummy. He was in There Will Be Blood. So he came on, and we become friendly. Also, we speak all the time.
That's awesome. No, that's great, and
so that
it's hard. It's hard when you're dealing with celebrities, especially like people that you admire. When I was on the Montel show, that was one of my hardest interviews because I'm like, I grew up watching the guy. It's like, oh my God, he's here. He's talking to me now. So I give you a lot of props for that. He was wonderful. He was wonderful. He was a really nice person, very down to earth. His staff were amazing to work with, very professional, made you feel at ease. But everything's very structured, it's almost like, daytime TV, you get an outline before the segment, and, there's not a lot of deviation from it.
Right.
So, everybody does their show differently, right? They have an organic conversation. Some people like it more structured. It really depends upon the host. So I respect everybody's option to do.
There are certain things. So a lot of times I just put out, I don't know how you do it always, but I put out just either full questions or bullet points. Just make sure to bring this up. And then we'll just see where the conversation goes from there.
No, absolutely. And everybody's different. As you went through the process with me, I try to connect with people before the segment, make sure that we make sure that all the points are there, that there's no surprises. So, I try to.
It's a little bit different with you just because you and I have been in contact, not often, but I said semi frequently. And so it felt very comfortable talking to you.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's exciting to hear, your perspective on, you've done hundreds of interviews. So it's really nice to hear from another podcaster and their experience. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
No, it's fun. It's different. You could also tell when someone's been doing this a while.
Absolutely. And it just flows naturally. Yeah. So certain people, I've been on different shows and it's not as structured or, there's a lot of chaos. I just try to breathe and go with it, and that's all you can do sometimes,
Well, I find it much better to have those conversations. Even if you have questions, you will if someone likes to talk, you'll go off on a tangent or something. You'll go off to places that you did not expect the conversation to go to. And I even watch other things, and I've been told this from other people who've been guests on other places and I see it that it's not as fun if you just go question, answer, and not engage a little bit during things. Because someone's going to say something, and if you're not listening, you're not following up on what they're saying. You're just like, I have to get to the next question instead of really engaging with what that person is talking about.
No, I totally agree. Active listening is so important no matter what you're doing in life, right? You want to be present, you want to be there and not miss anything. So that's awesome. And I appreciate your take on everything, especially with your professionalism. So, we've talked a little bit about the retro podcast.
Mhm.
How, in regards to your other podcasts, let's talk about some of the guests that you welcome on the Jewish Lens.
Yeah, like I said, it really is from everything. From every, I go around to see who might be good, who's going to be. I reach out to people, sometimes someone that I never would expected to have. Just you, for example. I was like, when you and I first started talking, I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. This is not someone you just think of just for this podcast, just what you do. And it was amazing. It was like really fascinating to have you on. But I reached out to people like, from politics. I reached out to people who do their own shows. Some very big voices from Twitter I've had on already from the show. That's which is amazing because they have huge followings themselves, and they came on and we discussed issues. So that was great for me. But I do reach out to like anyone and everyone, whoever I just think. I had on a huge publisher there as well. I have some people who are involved in, like I said, talking about issues now, Jewish issues right now, and I get a lot of authors. A lot of authors come on
Yeah.
and seek me out because they want, this is a platform for them too. And I guess there have not been many that just feature, Jewish voices or something. So I do have a lot of authors reach out to me to be on. That's been the most so far because every time I'm involved in several writing groups on social media, and anytime someone has a book out, it's funny that someone like, how do I get this out? And someone will say, speak, and they tag me, speak to Jonathan Rosen, speak to him, and they reach out to me to have on. But I do, I do have a lot of walks, people from different professions and different backgrounds. I had on someone, Logan Lefkoff, who was a sex expert, so but she's also a very big Jewish, voice talking about issues too. But so it was interesting, and she has a big following and she has a big audience. So it was nice to be able to talk to her about what she does, and as well as talk about Jewish issues. Last week's one was, besides her book out, she was a lactation consultant. So it's
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's a lot of different, walks. And the one, like I said, today was just a movie. It's a new movie out called Yaniv, which it was funny because I reached out to them for an interview, and they happened to be in South Florida when I did, and so where I live, and they invited me and my family to a screening, and so we got to see the movie before, and that's not always the case. So it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's always nice to be able to connect with people in person too that you interview.
Yes, that's rare. I don't always get to do that. It's like I've spoken on phone ahead of time to many of the people, but this was the first time, I think one of the first times that I met the person, met the guest in person beforehand.
That's awesome. Have you ever done any in-person interviews, or it's typically like over?
It's typically via Zoom or over something like this. I would love to. It's just, such a different world. It really is.
Definitely.
It's, people who used to, and I see, people that come to studios, but it's just it's so easy right now to do it anywhere around the world, and like this, you're talking instantaneously. I've interviewed people in the UK. I've interviewed people in Australia. That was not fun because you had, like, I think, a 16-hour time difference. So
Wow.
I had to be at night while they were the morning the next day with trying to coordinate time. So it really is just such a different world that we're able to do this to anyone, anywhere. I've interviewed, people in, like I said, UK, Australia, Israel. So it's been a lot of fun just getting to speak to people all around the world.
No, absolutely. And I think one of the bigger shows that you had too was Neeson Black. How was that interview?
That was great. That was another good one. Oh, Neeson Black was on. He was fun because I loved his music ahead of time. So it was like I was a fan. So it was great, and he was very nice. What an interesting story that he had. I urge people, if they don't know his story, read up on him or go watch my podcast with him. But I had him on. I had another rapper, Kosha Dills, and they've done a song together actually too, which was I do love the song. But he was like, what backgrounds? Like they came from, perhaps maybe both of them, like I guess violent backgrounds, and they've changed themselves. They've really made themselves over, and are really contributing to, not just entertainment, but just Jewish world as well. So it was both of them were fascinating to talk to, and I've had several comedians too. That, and I'm reaching out to another one soon too, but several comedians on too, and it's just fun to hear everyone's story and what makes someone tick, and what I guess trials and tribulations you have to go through to get to where you are. And that's anyone, we all have to go through. I remember you as well had to go through a lot of things also. I deal with things too. And it's, overcoming adversity is inspiring, a lot of these stories.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that, you have a voice for individuals that, oftentimes wouldn't get recognized or even welcomed, unfortunately, with the way the world is right now. So.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I started the Jewish Lens. It's just because of everything that's going on in the world right now. I wanted to have a platform, and I don't know how many people will watch from week to week. To me, it didn't matter. That wasn't the point of it there too. Just wanted to give, if they want, there's a place to go to, because you see what's going on in the world. You see a lot of people, and especially in my field in publishing right now, there are a lot of Jewish authors being ostracized, and it's just unbelievable. But you see what's happening, and so I want to give a platform there to you. Are welcome here. I would love to have you. You are welcome here. You have an outlet to go to. Perhaps maybe not everyone else, but I'm giving you an outlet too. And I'm not anyone there, but you do have it.
And that's awesome. And, in addition, you have been known to use your personal platforms to educate the public on what's really going on in the news. Because, again, we've seen a very big disconnect with factual news reporting these days.
Yeah.
Versus, personally, like I have friends that are Palestinian, I have friends that are Israeli. And when their stories don't match up with mainstream media, it does give reason for pause. So we have to, as individuals that are.
We're talking about social media. Everyone's
right?
getting their news from TikTok, which is not a serious news outlet. And it's just like, anyone could say an opinion, say this is fact, and no, unless you're going to get your own information for somewhere, stop relying on TikTok to get your worldview on things. And it's a problem. It really is a problem. But yes, I do say a lot on my own things too. Sometimes it's just shouting out into the wind because you don't know who's listening, and it's frustrating. And you see a lot of people will fight against you or just ignore you totally unless you're saying what they want you to say. But I'm not going to be silent. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut, and I'll you do whatever you can.
And that's all we can do as a community is keep voicing and giving a voice to those that don't have one, or the truth, and putting it out there. So I commend you for all of that. I hope personally, how has your experience been? I know you have a few books that you're pitching right now. Have you had any issues with anti-Semitism in that regard?
Well, I see it right now. I think publishing, and it's not going to help me, but publishing, it's not a great place overall right now. I think, especially if you're Jewish. I've seen a lot of things. I was a literary agent for a while too, and I saw it. I was able to see it, and it's funny. Like a lot of times, I would pitch to editors a Jewish themed book or whatever, but it's specific to like a certain holiday or whatever it is. Excuse me. And I would get back, oh, we already have a Jewish book in the pile. It doesn't matter if it could be on this holiday, or it could be something else, or it could just be like anything. We already have it. So there was like a quota on, and it's frustrating. But I do see it now. One of the first things when back when I first started, my first book, it didn't get published yet, and hopefully there will be a place for it someday, was a very Jewish themed book. It's based on Jewish mythology, but I tried to make it for kids, funny. It wasn't like overly, Jewish or something, but it was based on a Jewish mythology. I remember being told at the time by my first agent at the time, make it less Jewish. So it's like, here's a book on a Jewish mythological thing and make it less Jewish so it would sell. And it just, that was mind blowing to me that we could say that. So that, and no one else would be told that. No other group would be told that. So yeah, I do see an issue right now with, I hope it changes. I hope things start, going the other way, swinging the other way. But I do see it right now a little bit. And the books that I have out are not, one is, the adult one is very much based on a Jewish mythological thing, a Jewish, I guess, legend. But my middle grade one is not. My middle grade one is just a regular story. So we will see what happens.
That's awesome. And I commend you for everything. I'm sorry that you're going through that. You're not the only one, sadly. I mean, it's a really disturbing world out there. I think a lot of people kind of laid low with the anti-Semitism until an opportunity came out to voice it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly. Now everyone feels free that they're able to do it. They just substitute words, and but hey, I'm good to say it. Yes.
It's very scary. So I'm hopeful as well that we get some peace. I mean, the Jewish people have gone through enough. They just want to be left alone. That's all they've ever wanted. So it's just, yeah, I commend you for your advocacy as well. I mean, again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. We need to continue to spread hope and truth out there.
Yeah, like look, for me, it's based, my posts usually are, I try to do something humorous on all my social media things. But every once in a while, I'll get to it, and it's probably more so in the past couple of years, for sure. But the things that I see, but usually that's not me. But you feel compelled to do so at times, right now.
So, what are your kids' take on everything? Have they been dealing with stuff? What are their thoughts on your books? I'd love to hear more about your family and how they responded to your writing career.
My kids always, it's funny. My kids did read the first book. I don't know if they've read anything else after the first book, but it's like, it's always filled with critique. Either you should do this instead of what I don't think you should do this, and like no one likes that. Do this. And they're giving me their opinions on things. Even my first book, you should have done this instead. So it's like always, just giving me what they want me to do instead of what I'm doing. So that's they're very good with doling out critique for me. But I try to do things that they like to. But they also give me ideas all the time. How about doing a story on this? And they're very creative in their own right. But they all have different types of things that they like. As far as just talking about going back to the other with I grew up at times. I faced things in my life. I say this all the time. I'm not a fighter. I'm not someone who likes to fight. I hate violence, and yet in my life I've been in many fights. Because sometimes you have no other alternative, especially like you said, Jewish. And almost just about everything that I've ever gotten into a fight was because I was Jewish. Someone felt that they wanted to start. But you hope that your kids don't have to deal with that. And that was the thing that I want to protect my kids, not let them see that ugly side to the world at all. And the past couple of years, that's been shattered. They have seen it. They have seen that what in the world, what the ugliness of it is. And, as a parent, you feel like really down, like you let them down, like you can't protect them from everything. And I know you shouldn't protect them from everything. You should let them see, but you try to as long as you can. And that's one of the things that bothers me. But as far as the entertainment goes, they do enjoy giving me critiques. Like I said, they also suggest things for the podcast. They critique me on the podcasts, what I should do and what I shouldn't do. Even before coming on today, my daughter said, make sure you don't do this, which I already did. I know that. Certain things. She doesn't like when I lean on my fist like that, or to keep my hand there, which I've done already with you. So she's going to be yelling at me later.
Well, tell her you did a wonderful job. Listen, we're all human. This is a humanistic interaction. We're just having a conversation, and at the end of the day, you just be comfortable being you, and that's all we can expect.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I tell her. And they've actually there are certain guests that they love too that I've had on too. They were fans with Nissim Black. They were fans of Tim Rice that I had on, and the other one as well. So they are they're someone who we just interviewed. Someone who was in the movie Grease. They were all excited about because they all love Grease. So for the pop culture retro one. So that hasn't been out yet, but they were excited about that. So occasionally I get them happy with a guest that they like also.
That's so exciting. Is there any guest that they've been pushing, like, hey, Dad, I really want you to interview this person?
There are several. I won't say now, but there are several that they do suggest that they love. I never say, because a couple of things. One, I try until I get them on the show.
Right.
It's always just a dream right now. Even I've had experiences where someone will tell me that that they're coming on the show. Yes, we're going to do it. Comes the day of, and then it's canceled, and then all of a sudden they never appeared. So I've had that with several people, not many, but a couple. And so until they're on, I don't count anything that they are for sure coming on. So that's one. And also, I try to pick sometimes obscure guests, and I never like throwing it out there saying, hey, that would be a good idea. Let me go check first and see if I can get them on my show before this guy gets them on his show. So I'm always quiet until we get someone on.
No, I think that's a good protocol to have, because again, life happens. People plan and God laughs, right? So.
Exactly. But there are people that I do get excited about. I see some coming. We have some coming up, which hopefully soon, and then which I am excited about. But it's you'll see them in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
That's awesome, Jonathan. It's been awesome to have you on here. It's kind of flown by. So let's talk about how people can get in contact with you if they want to be on the show, they want to read your books, they want to reach out to you. How do we get in contact with you?
Everyone can email me as my personal email. It's not anything. It's houseofrosen@aol.com. That's my email. And you could follow me. I'm on all the social media sites as under House of Rosen. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. And Pop Culture Retro and the Jewish Lens also have pages on Twitter and Instagram as well. We have our YouTube pages, the Pop Culture Retro and the Jewish Lens, as well as now, finally, I did something on TikTok. I wasn't on TikTok until like a few weeks ago because I see that I have to. It was another medium that I did not want to do, and I realized that I have to do it too.
Awesome. No, I thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me. I know you're really busy. And is there anything you want to leave your guests or the audience with today?
I thank you all for whoever watches, whoever has been subscribing. I thank you. Seriously, I love hearing from people who watch the show or just, entertain. Or people suggest. I have people writing into me to suggest guests too. So I welcome every message, and whoever it is, I do thank you for your support, and thank you for watching, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you all the best with the new books and the screenplay. And if there's anything we can do to support on our end, please let us know.
Say a little prayer for me. Yes.
We got you. Hashem's looking out. All right, Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today. I am Julie Ann MEJIA. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy days to join us. And next month, we will have another beautiful guest. And thank you to USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacqueline for all the beautiful work they do for our community. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Much love to everyone. Take care.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com. In a world full of noise, misunderstandings and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations.
Meet Red O'Loughlin, TV show host, presenter, and author.
Howdy y'all, Red O'Loughlin here. I'm a TV host on the USA Global TV and Radio Network.
Red has 3 weekly shows every Thursday.
I've been a TV host now with USA Global probably maybe just a little over 3 years. Probably, I know for sure 250, 300 shows.
Join Red on the Corner Bookstore.
The Corner Bookstore is one where we talk to authors, publicists, publishers, editors, cover designers, anybody associated with the writing and authoring book production business. You have somebody in that area, I can help you with regard to getting your book done, getting it published, working with you on a cover. A lot of things I can help people with, and I have probably maybe published over 40 books for people so far.
Join Red on The Wise Ones.
On the Wise Ones, I'm looking for entrepreneurs, business owners, people who have wisdom, lessons learned over time that they can share with others. So please go to usaglobaltv.com, sign up and join me there.
Book your session on usaglobaltv.com. Join Red on Talking Heads.
On Talking Heads, I take my experience. I fell in love with chemistry many years ago, got a degree in it, got an invitation to Vietnam, never practiced chemistry per se, but I did get a chance when my wife was going through chemo to get back into the chemical end of things. I started looking for cause and effect relationships. I had been working at a company doing cause and effect analysis on failures in the field on various products that we made. So I said, why not look at the cellular structure in the body? The chemicals are chemicals, they do certain things. So I take my knowledge of chemistry and research, I write about it, I speak about it. I have over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn, most of them dealing with some aspect of health or wellness. I speak on that topic quite often, and the Talking Head show is one that I concentrate my knowledge of health and wellness on in order to help people.
Red is a distinguished Toastmaster.
As a distinguished Toastmaster, I help people get their speeches developed. The presentation is something that I critique all the time with Toastmasters. It's one of those skills that I have. I can easily help you on that one. So from the position of writing, publishing, book coach, speaking, and being a keynote speaker at an event or virtually, depending on how things work out. But those are the things that I can help people with, and I have 3 shows every week here on the USA Global TV and Network, and please join me when you can. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Here are some of the books that Red has written and published. Contact Red at redolaflin.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.